And there you go. Umlungu ukhulumile ne? Useshilo umlungu wathi recording in progress. Thank you so much for joining us. The time is now 24 minutes to the hour 7 o'clock, and our show has officially started. And I love seeing these beautiful faces this evening. It's just making the evening brighter, ne? And I think it's Chief Okuzamile because you're going to be the only gent here.
No, I wanted to be the only one. Anyway,
how it's like.
The king among the queens.
All right, guys, welcome to That's Deep. This is our 4th episode, and we are continuously growing. And of course, we're a show that stems from Ruth K Foundation under Tito Kang Media Production. And today is super, super, super special. I'll tell you why. Because on the very first show, we're supposed to have Umabu join us, who is our CEO and director and founder of Ruth K Foundation, but she couldn't, and she could only join us today. So you guys are the special group who gets to meet the lady who is behind the brand, the lady who is the brains for Ruth K Foundation, as well as Tito Kang Media Production. But we'll give her a chance to speak. For now, my name is Londiwe, and I'm not here alone. I'm with the handsome.
I'm Mr. Matabi.
Of course, it's Lesego Matabi, and we are just going to be here steering the show and making sure that all the questions that we have are answered, and that whilst we're doing that, we're also entertained throughout the event. We are That's Deep, and we tackle issues that are within the African community. And today, we all know that this month of August is a big month in the sense that we celebrate the women of South Africa. So today we thought, what better way to do this than to speak about one of the things that is very detrimental to any woman for that matter, whether you're in South Africa or elsewhere, and that is chelete, mali, health.
When you don't have it.
When you don't, we don't want to get into that. We don't want to get into that. So welcome everyone. And what I would like to do for my introductions, I'd like you to pick a number, starting with Khuthatso, a number from 1 to 3, and I'll let you know just now what you will do with that number. Khuthatso, do you have a number that you'd like to pick between 1 to 3?
1.
Khuthatso chose 1. Matabiso?
I'll choose 3.
You choose 3. Onkemeti?
I'll also go for number 3.
All right, we have Moses Kotane, but I can see that it's just the naming there. If you can just correct the name so that we address you accordingly. But would you choose a number for us, please?
Hi, colleagues. My name is Belina Lakatwan. I'm the Mrs. South Africa finalist. I'm in the load shedding, so I resorted to come to the car.
Northwest, very well represented there, load shedding. Sorry about that, Belina. Okay, so which number are you choosing, Belina?
I'm number 1.
Choosing 1. Musadi Kwena, which number would you like to choose?
I'll choose number 1 because I can't say I'm number 2 or number 3. So I'll go for 1.
And then lastly, Chief Lo, which number would you like to choose? Okay, maybe we're having challenges with sound for Chifu. So the number that you have chosen, ladies and gentlemen, is going to give us the number of pointers that you are going to introduce yourself with. So if you've chosen number 1, you will just say, my name is Londiwe Mutabi, and I am the host of the show called That's Deep. And that's the 1 point that you're going to raise. If you've chosen 3, like Matabiso did, then of course you can tell us more about who you are and what it is that you do. I'll take it all the way back to Belina, who's going to open it up for us in terms of introductions. I believe you chose number 1, Belina. Belina, you are on mute.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll allow her to fix her audio there. Matabiso, are you ready to go with your 3 points on who you are and what it is that you do?
Okay. I am Matabiso Moloi Kamane. I am a wife and a mother. Is that two now?
Yes. You.
I would take that as one, but continue.
No, it's fine. If it's one, then like it's fine. That's good. I'm a CEO and founder of Women Navigating the Future Networks. I am an accountant and a risk specialist. And yeah, I'm also a strategist. So yeah,
Welcome,
I think that's three.
Matabiso. Welcome. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Mata. Thank you so much. Going all the way to Kgothatso, could you please introduce yourself as well?
All right. I am Kgothatso Masupie. I am here as the CEO of Black Pearls Foundations. That's one, right?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You want to know? Okay, so Lesego is giving an opportunity to find out, to give us more information about Black Pearl. He seems to be interested.
I'm interested in Pearl. How much are we? Okay, please tell us more about Black Pearl.
So Black Pearls is an NGO. We focus on gender-based violence. And yeah, so we are the advocates of gender-based violence, of human trafficking, and yeah, all those kind of unpleasant
social ills,
things
right?
that women face in the country. Yeah, so that is Black Pearls Foundations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the work you guys are doing in that space.
I love the fact that you blend in well with Ruth K Foundation, because one of the things that we also do focus on is that of looking at people who have been involved in gender-based violence as well as human trafficking. So welcome Kgothatso and welcome Matabiso. So who are we giving a chance next?
She's still trying to connect. Let's give Mabu a chance.
Sadikwena.
Ma'am? Oh, my name is Mabu Musadikwena Mulifi, the founder of both Ruth K Foundation and Tito Kang with Ruth K. For Ruth K, we are dealing with mostly with the child-headed families, disadvantaged families, and people with disabilities in the Northwest Province rural areas. That's where our focus is. When we started, we didn't have the GBV and the human trafficking as part of our vision or as part of our mission. But when we started interacting with our victims, that's when we included or we incorporated gender-based violence and human trafficking inside. And that's when baby Tito Kang was born, because then when we interact with our beneficiaries, that's when we realize most of the things, most of our culture, most of our beliefs, most of how things are done, we are not that clued up with. Hence, we started Tito Kang as well, to know our roots, to know who we are, to know what is expected of us as an African child.
Amen. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Mabu. Now we are just here moving this vehicle, but it's always good to know that the people who are the founders and the people who have the vision are still involved in making sure that the program goes forward. Thank you so much for that. Are you ready, Belina? I do see Tuba Pelo Musadi is already in as well. Welcome, we see you and we acknowledge you. Belina, are you ready to then continue with your introduction?
Hi everyone, my name is Belina Lekhatwane. I did not hear well the question, but I will just introduce from my heart because I was out of the meeting due to signal. My name is Belinela Katwani. I'm full-time manager of media communications, marketing and government in Moses Kotane local municipality. And I'm also doing my second master's degree. I'm a student. And what else? I'm a finalist for Mrs. South Africa, which is a beauty pageant for married women from 25 to 65. So yeah, I'm the finalist and I'm alone in the Northwest Province. Thank you so much.
Fine, not
Representing there.
Yes, Thank you so much for that. We do have Unati. Unati, you have an opportunity to introduce yourself before we get into the interview.
Okay, I hope you can hear me. Good evening, everyone. I am so struggling with network. I'm on load shedding since 5, but I'm glad I was able to log in. My name is Unati Nare. I am a founder and CEO of Tubapilo Mosadi. Tubapilo Mosadi was born from a women ministry to support women who are struggling as mothers, women who are struggling as young girls, women who are struggling also to get a relationship going. So when we started Tubapilo Mosadi, we were looking on different aspects just based on support. But when the ministry grew, I realized that the plate is becoming bigger. Therefore, I need more people to be part of the movement, to be able also to cater for all aspects of different women that were coming to the ministry. And then the ministry gave birth to Tubapilo Mosadi magazine, where now we realize some stories they are able to be told in a better format, where people now, they will read about individual stories and also be motivated. So I started the magazine during the COVID. That was in 2019, in the midst of COVID, when people are fighting, husbands and wives are fighting, people are, going through a mess. God installed a vision to me and say, start a magazine, which I started while I was in lockdown. And I'm so proud of the team that I work with. We have reached our 3rd year, July. And also through that, I've got Unati Foundation. That's where we do now charity for the community, where we care for our youth, our pensioners, our elderly, and those that are in need as well through Unati Foundation. And what we do as well, because the ministry has taught us so much about Mutwa Mosadi, we managed also to build a movement that is called Tubapilo Mosadi Women of Worth, where we award them for what they do in the community. Because if somebody doesn't give you money, but by saying to you, you are doing great, you get this push in your soul that says, keep on going, regardless how tough it is. So we acknowledge them with awards, just to acknowledge the good things that they do for community. My partner there, Belina, is doing pageantry. Pageantry is got a beautiful platform. That's what I can say, because I started with it when I started Mrs. Rustenburg. That was in 2017. And I saw the power of the sash right there. That when you're wearing your sash, people see you differently as a woman. They want to know more about you. Then I started with Mrs. Rustenburg. And when I started with Mrs. Rustenburg, the empowerment was about women that got bigger bodies, because they lose their confidence, they lose their courage, they see themselves as worthless, like they don't mean anything to anybody. So when I started joining, I was trying to show them that we are also capable to do what we want, regardless how we look. We should, be grateful of the body that God has given us, and there's more that we can achieve. Hence, I'm standing here. I've traveled to US twice with this body that people shamed in 2017, and I just won my title last Saturday for Miss South Africa plus World, and next day is taking me to US again. I've currently also won a heroine. I'm still struggling with my tongue twist. Hero, I'm a hero for women as an influencer out of Africa. I'm one of the 50 women who are influential. So that is a great opportunity. And when other women see this, they see that this is local. It's in Rustenburg. It's in the village called Kanana, representing Northwest. Therefore, everybody is capable of doing anything that their mindset tells them to do. So this is Unati. Thank you so much for the platform.
Thank you. I can see I'm amongst the great here. women who are busy, who are just not, doing little, but going over and above their call of duty. Thank you very much for all your hard work. And we would like to start, and we are really grateful, and we would like to know more about your lives and your influence.
And I love the fact that all the women here are founders, directors. That's it. It's soft pressure, guys.
Power.
Oh, the power. Okay,
Power.
yeah. Love that better. Okay, let's hit it on then, bitch.
All right, all right. As you know, the title for our discussion today is "Hey sis, money looks good on you." What did you think when you saw this? Your first reaction? Did you think it really looks good on me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm glad you felt that way.
Yes, yes.
All right. Now, we would like you to take us back to the time when you started understanding the value of money. And what would you say your relationship is with money right now? I would like to give Potato as the first respondent.
You're on mute, yes.
I'm unmuted now, ne?
Yeah.
Okay. My first response to money. Come again. Please repeat your question.
Take us back to the time you started understanding the value of money, and what would you say is your relationship with money right now?
I got a huge shock.
Okay.
When I started understanding the value of money, right? Because if you're not careful with money depletes. And if you're not going to be clever with it or clever about it, or let me not say clever, but wise, because what I learned,
Yeah.
you can never say, money. Money gets finished. And if you're not wise with it, you're going to end up with nothing. The reality is that money finishes. And that's the shock I had when I started understanding the value of money. That sometimes, especially when you're self-employed like myself, and you are a social entrepreneur at heart, you end up working for you work so hard, you do so many things, but because you're a social entrepreneur, sometimes you find that you've done so much, but you've got nothing to build.
Yeah.
I get you're a social entrepreneur. You have used your income from your work to now help where you can. And now you've worked there, and you gave here. And now there's nothing anymore left. So my relationship with money now is having an understanding that now that something, 10 Rand is out, 10 Rand must come back in. Or even if it's not 10 Rand is out, but at least 5 Rand must come back in, because I'm going to end up stranded. And you don't want that. My relationship with money now is that it needs to work for me. I cannot be so exhausted that I do so much, but I can't see what I did when now I look at returns. I get so tired, but there's no income to show, because I pushed the passion, what the heart wants to go and represent. I'm a lawyer by profession. The heart wants to go and assist all these people that are being abused and you took all you had. So my relationship with money now is that something there needs to be a return somewhere. Money must work for me.
Money
love
must
that.
work.
Because money, I work.
I
All
think,
right.
I think
Yeah.
that, I mean, that's
I
the
like that
takeaway,
too. I
yes.
like that. Money must work for you.
Money must definitely work for you. And I think what she's saying speaks to what we spoke about last month. We were celebrating the hand that gives. And one of the quotes that came out from that is that the hand that gives gathers. And I guess as founders of non-profit companies sitting here, I truly do understand where you come from in terms of giving it all out and not having anything left and yet being so exhausted. So we truly are saying that prayer out loud, that the hand that gives should gather, you know, so that it keeps replenishing itself and multiplying. And I think I would like to ask Umata to step into that. This is one lady that I know who is a giver at heart, but also is working tirelessly doing different projects to make sure that money is working for her. Mata, how would you answer that first question on the value of money and what the relationship is that you have with money at this current moment?
Oh, thank you so much, Slow. And I like the, the slang, money must work for me. I think it's also something that I align myself into. But I think for me, when I was thinking about that question, it actually took me back to my family. So I grew up like within two families, my mother's side and my father's side. And my father's side, I would say they were advantage and my mother's side were disadvantage. But when I was looking or growing up like between these two families, because then I was more staying at my father's side, my father's side, they had a structure and a strategy on how to handle money. And on my mother's side, there was what must kind of like a survival mode, like a hand to mouth. Every day, like we are running to Spaza to buy a PCC, while on the other side we buy grocery. There is a plan to say we are buying like this month, and then like when it's finished, it's just to replenish what is finished. So I grew up like in those two different families. And what I saw is, and it's something that people usually say is, the richer get richer and the poor get poor, because obviously if you are rich and you are having like resources or even like knowledge on how to utilize money, then you'll find better ways to use it. Then if you are living from hand to mouth, you'll find yourself like, keep on even like borrowing, and so on. So I think that's when my understanding of money started, and I obviously I wanted to not to be like my mother's side. I wanted to take more like to be like my father's side, especially my grandfather, because my grandmother was a housewife, and the way that my grandfather was able to handle, like all the dynamics, like when the wife is a housewife, but she still feel that she's a manager of the house. So I started like to look at that to say, okay, fine, so this may be like the way that I follow. So my relationship started like to grow from there. And at this point, I can really say that I'm very in the comfortable relationship with money. I'm aware, like where I need to stop. I think at some point I did suffer with the giving part, to say I will give more, sometimes because I will feel that maybe I need to compensate, because I'm very empathic. Like I will feel sorry for a person, then I will just give. But I've also learned to be able to say, at this moment, I cannot. But yes, at this moment, I think like we've got a good and a comfortable relationship with money.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And that wonderful childhood memory. And I think really that way of, we all need to go back and look at what is our relationship with money and not have any shame of our past, but learn from it and change course if we need to change course.
And I think also having that opportunity to see both ends
Yeah.
makes you so sure about which side you're going to choose. And I'm glad Umata chose the side, dear Mali, and I'm hoping later on she's going to be sharing a few tips with us on how do we get the bag, because we are working, we are sweating, we're doing so many things, we're mothers, we're wives, we're sisters, we're all this, and we still need to get the bag. I want to just acknowledge Samsung SM there. I cannot clearly see who it is because it's not named as well. Just to say hello, see you, as well as Lefa. We welcome you to the show. We will give you guys an opportunity to ask questions towards the end. For now, we're just going to go on with the course. And that question, I guess we'll just leave it to Umata and Okutato, and we'll move right on to the next one because we're also looking at time. And this one, I want us to really think about it. This is a question that all of us can learn from. So the question is that most of us sitting here have worked for the past 20 years, right? More or less, depending, of course, on how old you are. We have worked for about 20 years. And the question that I'd like to ask is that, number one, what are the lessons that we have learned in these past 20 years? Number two, how are we preparing ourselves to ensure that we are ready for retirement? So the question is twofold. It's saying that, number one, we've worked for the past 20 years. What are the lessons that we have learned? How are we preparing for retirement? And also there's something else that we wanted to mention within that, because we felt that one of the biggest things that makes women to stay in abusive relationships is that they are financially dependent on the person with the income or on the perpetrator. So we want people who are listening to this to be liberated and say, no, man, there are ways that you can actually use to try and liberate yourself. So that question is actually a very wide question to say, what are the lessons we can pick up? How do we make sure that we assist people who are listening to say, you can come out of that relationship, you don't have to depend on it. And then lastly, how do we then look forward to the next 20 years and make sure that come retirement, but a comfortable relationship with money? To answer that first question, I'd like to direct it to Belina.
Belina was just saying that she's got a bad connection. I don't know if she's hearing us. Belina, are you there?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I heard the part of what are the lessons. I've been working for more than 20 years, right? Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm full-time in government, and what I realized is that it is quite sad. We get paid on the 15th. It's quite sad that some fellow brothers and sisters around immediately after the 16th, they don't even have send. And social media will be making fun of us, people getting paid on the 15th, to say, wow, already we are grumpy and whatever. I don't know why, but what I realized is from the past.
And that's how Belina left us.
Yeah, Belina will come back. I was still interested in that, what's happening in government, because it's true.
Sorry, guys, my networks I keep going out of the meeting and coming back. My
I'll be
apologies.
patient with you, don't worry.
So I was saying, from being a student.
Belina, and we really want to hear it. But I think in the meantime, Mabu, are you able to give us an answer to that second question about the last 20 years or so? Because some of us have worked for more than 20 years slightly. What are the lessons that you have learned from the income that you have earned?
So yes, I was saying that.
Everyone.
So,
The lessons that I've learned, and I'll take it over from where Belinda left off, although I'm not 100% sure of what she wanted to say.
mm,
But the lesson I've learned, ke gore we get paid, and at the end of the day, or the following day, you have nothing. So the lesson to me is lack of planning. You lose focus when it comes to planning for what you want. We just buy things.
Northwest is not
Northwest is
just-
having a challenge,
Not-
but they're not calling it load shedding.
What are they calling it now?
Still,
What?
it's load reduction.
Okay, guys, so it's common, ma'am. You're back, Mr. Dikwena?
Yes, I'm back. It's load shedding this side, so hence we
Mhm.
keep on rejoining.
Such a pity.
Lack of planning and lack of investing, or lack of having proper planning. Actually, to me, proper planning is the main thing, budgeting. So we tend to just live in the hand to mouth, like Advocate was saying earlier on. Whatever the little we get, we don't have a plan of how am I going to ensure that this little that I have, I'm going to multiply it from 5 rand to 10 rand. So and on the salary, which is 5 rand, and then that 10 rand, that 5 rand is not even enough for you.
Okay, so I hear the resounding point of planning and budgeting. I just want to give Belina an opportunity to respond. I can see the message coming in, Belina, but now for the split minute where you still have the network on your side, can you just complete your response?
Okay, thank you so much. I was saying that my observation is that our expenditure is more than our income. Honestly speaking, a person knows that they earn 12,000 rand or 12.5 after deduction, but when you look at their expenditure, it's more than the income. And that thing, sadly, it leads to depression because a person gets paid, but the next morning, she or he is not even happy. So most of the time is quite observed in our fellow brothers, Black people. So let us make sure that our expenditure is not more than our income. Another thing is peer pressure. When Belina is invited by the friends for a drink on Friday at Sun City, you need to know how much you make per day, honestly speaking, guys, because you are with your friends, you order whatever that you want to order, which is more than what you can have with regard to your income. So let us make sure that when we out with our friends, let us normalize to share. Some of the friends that really loves us, I don't think we do mind to share, especially if we are on a cost containment. So let us be on a cost containment because currently when you look at the economy, we are facing an economic meltdown. So let us just be honest with ourselves. Another thing is that normally people think that when a person says stick to your lane, or it's a makaka, or maybe the person is mean to you. Honestly speaking, stick to your lane is quite an effective way to me. I always say to fellow people that I motivate in different areas to say, women, we like to order curtains that are more than what we can afford. The next thing we say that the next 15 days I will have food.
I think she's gotten disconnected once again, but I think an important a point that she's raising about peer pressure, about not being honest with ourselves and also spending more than we are actually earning. And I think all of us can relate to that because at some point or another, we have exercised that or have witnessed somebody who actually does the same thing. And I think for us, the wake-up call was last year. 2022 in June, when we realized that it's all fake.
Yeah.
A lot of it is fake and a lot of it is not real, and a lot of things that we've committed to, we are not affording. So making that conscious decision to now scale down,
Yeah.
you know, is one of the most difficult things to do. But I think it's one of the most important things to do once you realize that you're not coping.
I like, yes, I like what Belinda was saying, that how much do you earn a day? I've really honestly never looked at it in that way, to say how much do you earn a day, and then you can start saying, if I am going to blow this 200 and this is what I earn a day, am I really doing justice to myself? And to deal away with a fake life really is the most important thing.
I think that is. And I want to just redirect the question once again to Unathi with regards to, now I'm a woman, I'm a stay-home mom and wife, I'm not employed, I depend entirely on Ulisego to bring in the income, but he tends to have tendencies that are not so accommodative, that actually can be classified maybe as GBV. What can I do for myself to avoid staying only just because Ulisego is the main source of income in the relationship?
Before she responds, I think there's a term I would like to put. It's actually financial abuse. You know, you may not be abused physically, but you are abused financially. You know,
What does that look like?
I don't know, but you know, you can't say much.
Or how be at all.
Yeah, like if you misbehave, your allowance will be taken away.
Oh, okay, that kind of a thing. Okay, no, she can actually step into that. Mama Unathi, can you elaborate on that?
Okay, no, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, I've learned that financial literacy is important. You're working or you're not working. Knowing more about finances is very important, because each and every minute of our life we spend money. So even if you're a housewife, you need income, you know, you need that specific care for yourself, you know, self-love. Self-love, you need to give it to yourself, regardless you are working or not. So if you are in a companionship that you are not having any income, and then you are depending on your husband, like you put it, in many ways, you end up being so fully dependent to such an extent that even if you are physically abused, emotionally abused, you know, any type of abuse that can come your way, you just receive it as it is. I remember once a friend of mine was worried about the in and outs of the husband. And because she's a housewife, when she said, you know what, baby, we don't spend time together. Where do we get time just to spend together? And the answer from the husband is that, do you see the house? Do you see the car? Do you see the clothes that you're wearing? 8 to 5 won't make the income. After 5, I'm going to make more money so that you can live in this luxurious life. Automatically, that's abuse. It might not be physically harming, but emotionally, it does have an impact. And most of our women, they stay in such relationships because they feel worthless and they're mostly fearful of the unknown. Going back home, we teach them that, you know what, it's okay for you not to be okay. It's okay for you not to have anything. It's okay to go back home and knock and say, Mommy, I'm home. There's people who don't speak to their mothers of families today because of other issues. But for you to go back home with the it's okay. You know, go back. But there's those who are looking at you and they see you as a hero, that you did not let your circumstance drown you where you were. You were able to rise up and said, I'm able to do something for myself. When I speak to women, I say, look at your potential. Look at what is it that you are best in. Now I'm best on talking. Hence, I'm doing wellness in the mining industry. I speak to people about illnesses. I teach them about, because my power is in my mouth. I speak a lot. So I will speak to women and say, look at your power that God gave you. God has given you something. A gift is there. It's just for you to unleash it. And to unleash it, just sit down and draw all the interest. You'll find that you love cooking. You can be a caterer. You find that you love baking. You can be a baker. You find out that you like, you know, interacting with kids. You can start building something, becoming a tutor to the kids. Somebody will pay you something. You start having a little that will make you somebody. And the more you have those small things, then you are capable to say, no, let me sit down and start making a budget. Then the financial literacy comes in. Then you are able to boom a 10 rand into a 50 rand, a 50 rand into a 200. But as long as you don't know your value, as an individual. It's unfortunate you will stay in that relationship thinking that's where the value is. And yourself, you are value more than anything.
Amen.
Thank you.
Chumayela, also Nati.
And just this part that you shared with us, can it be in the magazine in the next 2 months? And for really women who left with nothing. In my line of work, I work in industry, it's very hard. You find that we work long hours, and I've came across a couple of women who left everything and just started grinding. One of them, I met up with her 10 years since then. And look, she's booming.
But I love what she says about understanding the value, your own value, and not putting so much value on the communion, but understanding that I come with a gift, I come with a certain power, I am able to do certain things, and also not undermining the starting small. Because I think when we're already used to that 12,000 yaha papa, you know, I'm thinking that, yo, if I start this catering and I'm only gonna get 500, it just becomes such a big thing to unravel in your mind. But actually going back and saying it's okay, because then I would be living my truth, and also I'll be earning that myself, and who knows what could come out from that 500 rand. So thank you so much for that, also Nati. We're going to move straight ahead to the next one.
Given these three things which you have already talked about, actually, you introduced the one of them, self-care, your responsibility as in household responsibility to your kids, to your family, and investment. How are you currently managing these financial requirements? And this is to all of you. I'd like to hear from all of you on this one. How are you handling self-care? How are you handling family responsibility? And how are you handling investment with your finances? Anyone?
Okay, I think I will come through like to this one. So I'm also very I'm so into self-care because of the heads that I hold in different roles that I play. So self-care is very important to me, because wherever I show up, I want to show up like with excellence, and I have to make sure that I'm full physically and emotionally. So I'm very much advocate also women within the network. I always say, you know, if you feel that you cannot take it anymore, please see someone that is trained in that field, because most of the time, like, you can speak to friends, but also you find that they are going through a lot. Most people are going through a lot these days. So just practice that. Don't go when you are in crisis. I'm a risk person, so I always said manage the risk and not the crisis. So that's one, like, it's very important. And I'm self-aware when I need to take a time off. Like after this event, I will be on break because I deserve it. Then responsibilities like within family, also creating like a structure that is able to support you. I'm very fortunate like to have a husband who's also, you know, I would say like have his financial education. And I think that he also educated me somehow regarding like finances, because the other thing that I needed like to balance my life is I love things. I love beautiful things. But I also know how to prioritize, you know, like to say we need to have this, and, you know, like at this moment we can't have this, and we are okay. But also I think that one, it came from my father. Like he taught me like at a very young age, you know, to say I'm the only competition. So there's no other competition. I'm not competing with anyone. So it's only me. So even the goals that we set within the family, it cannot be ukuthi sizoyisetha ukuthi hey masingafika lapha kusilondi. No. It's us like to say that's where we want to go, like as a family. And that balance between me and my husband of saying, you know, siyakhuzana, because that is very important. I think when we're also talking about, you know, like women who are so dependent or like, well, housewife, obviously the husband like is supporting them. There is also this factor, Yoguti, sometimes we don't discuss things zemali when everything is going well. You know, like imali mayisaphuma awumbuza ubaba ukuthi where is this money coming from? Ayi kumnandi, but when we start like to have
Mata,
problem,
wala
you're
khona
like,
lapho, Mata. I used to say glory be to God when money just mysteriously came into the house and never really questioned until, you know, when it starts dwindling, then you're like, hi man, can't you kwenzakalani? So I think that's an important thing. Sorry to disturb, but I couldn't know today because, you know,
no,
sometimes we confuse
it's very
faith with
important.
reality.
It's very important, Slow, and most of us like we miss that, and we forget also Guti, some of the issues is because of money. Guma families is because of money. So it's very, very important Guti, like we become transparent, like in everything, and we just also share Uguti. Hey, we're going on holidays. Are we still okay? You know, like that, just checking, you know, during the good times. Because during the bad times, everyone is under pressure. Like the husband will say, hey, stop. And the way that she will respond to you is not going to be nice because we are all under pressure and you are busy asking her, like, but where is the money? But we're flying together. And we were there, we ask. Exactly. You see, so we really need to be responsible. And as we teach ourselves about money, we also need to teach our families, our kids, and so forth. So, and then when it comes to investment, I think like for me, what I've seen is I'm more of an investor than a saver. I think like I kind of like jump the stages to be more of a saver. And my husband likes saying, Guti, I think when every money you get, you just take it to saving, to investing. But I think it's the picture that I have. I want to live the life where it will feel natural. You know, I don't want it to feel, you know, like when we are showing off. So many people will say like new money, it can show. So I want like it to be a lifestyle. Yes. Even like for my kids to live like in this lifestyle. So like in terms of investment, through also like the organization, I'm empowering women. I'm very passionate about this because I don't want, I believe that if I move and I move with others, there will be no a friend that will come and borrow money from me because we will all be winning. So that's why like we had like the Stockfella through Women Navigating the Future, where we also teaching what you can start with 50 rand. I think we not talked about that. Would start like with 10 rand, and then you see this 10 rand growing like to owning a cow. You know, so and it's painful because slow, you know, like this year we had like the interest rate rising. I think like it was twice or three times, and it was very painful when women like come and share to say, you know, I think I'm going to sell my house. And at that time, you have money that you are putting in a stokvel, but there is this rule to say you can only touch it after 3 years. But for me, I always said, you know, even when you plant, you put the seed down. And the waiting, it takes time and it's painful because others are celebrating and you are thinking, you know, let's seed. Do I eat the seed and then, or I wait? And for me, then it always goes to the fate like potato. That always keep me going to say, wait, it will surely, you know, bring out like fruit. So that's where I am actually like in that, in terms of investment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I will come back to your points. Kotato or Nati, one of you can.
So with me, you want us to categorize them from so for me, my priority is always investment. Ne?
Yeah.
And it is a natural thing, as Matabs is saying, ne? It's natural for me. I can be without money for my insurance, but yeah, investment but because of how, and I'm grateful for the organization that she has, that she wants to teach people that it needs to be a natural, it must be a lifestyle. You know, investment must be a lifestyle. And I'm grateful that to me, it has been instilled that way from the age of 16. You getting 10 rand for school. You are not going to use your whole 10 rand at school. No. You cannot use your whole 10 rand at school. At the end of the month, I need to see how much is it that you saved from your school money. And so for me, my investments always go first. But now, after almost 15 years now of doing this one type of investment, I've unfortunately gotten how do you refer to it? My eyes have now been open to a disappointment that the returns that I thought I'll be getting from this kind of investment, it's not what I expected.
Yeah.
So now, I think in motivating women to invest, we need to also include the concept of risking. Be diverse in your investments, because there's one type of investment for me. Yes, it was there, but the returns that you expected, they're not like that. It was a disappointing factor to me. But that investment, Diona, is always a priority. And then there's self-care. Self-care comes before my family responsibilities. And the reason being that if I'm not taking care of myself, really, if I don't I won't be able to take care of them, because I won't be well. I'll be so exhausted. I'll be so tired. I'll be so mentally exhausted. So if I'm not well, that's how I prioritize my thing. It's me before my family responsibilities and my work as well. Because if I'm not well, I'm not going to be able to sit 6 hours consulting with this lady who's from an abusive relationship. I'm not. And say, but actually, really, you want restoration of your gym card. Are you serious? You know, so I make it a priority. I need to feel well first before anything else. I take self-care very seriously. I don't compromise me. If I'm tired or if I'm not well, I do not compromise health, because I'm passionate about what I do, you know. And even when I serve my family, I serve them wholeheartedly. So if I'm not well, I can't do that. You know, I won't be able to do that. So yeah,
and I'm trying to censor the kind. Yes, I think it's true, because I mean, for a long time, when I was still in corporate, a long time, I was earning quite a good salary, and I would count at the end of the month with how much have you used for you, you know, like honestly, and it was such a sad truth to come up with the fact that no, actually, I haven't used much on myself, and I'm not just talking monetary value. I'm also talking time. I'm talking that taking the time out and saying, you know what, I need to go for a walk. I need to go for a spa, you know, and it's only then when I said to myself, this train is going to crash. If I don't take care of myself, everything else that depends on me is going to crash along with me. So thank you so much for that. Mabu and also Nachi, do you guys share the same sentiment? It's investment, self-care, then other people, or is it another story for you guys?
No, I think we share the very same, but before you realize that you need to care for yourself, you must have come from a very bad journey of money, like myself. You know, when I started working, I saw everything. I was the situation working, I blew it. You
Yeah,
know, we blew our salary before
Yeah.
it comes.
yeah.
You know, you end up, when we did not have financial guidance.
Mm.
You know, I was in debts before I even received my first paycheck. Already I had 4 credit cards. I had clothes card because I thought it's easy. And then when you realize that you within too much debts, then you start planning. And when you plan, and you realize that you also need to plan for yourself. You need to be on that budget. So now I don't compromise. I put myself on my budget monthly. I do lunch by myself or I do massage, self-care starts well.
Yeah.
And that's when you start also having the boost to care for the others. I'm a mother of boys only. So my household is only 3 boys, and the elder one is my husband, and the 2 boys and myself. So I'm the only girl in the house. So they will sit there in their corner, start talking things. I don't even interfere. But when I start looking at myself and say, I'm taking myself for a spa day, they want to now intervene. But it's very important that we really need to take time out and care for ourselves so that we get the energy, we boost, like Kotazo and Matabiso said, that when you come back to the family, when you come back to those that needs you are able to give them. Because remember, if your cup is not flowing, you can't give what you don't have. Your cup needs to overflow so that you are able to give. You understand? So it starts there with me. It starts with me. Let my cup flow. If it overflows, I'm pouring love, I'm pouring money, I'm pouring support, I'm pouring everything. And with investment, I don't compromise. We need to invest. We need to save money. And I don't want my kids one day to say, Mama, no. I want to say, even if Mama has a pillar, at least there's a 10 grand or there's 100 grand somewhere that is keeping us. And also, I always speak to people about what we call legacy. That legacy is not only money. I'm staying in a village. People will say legacy, knowledge is also legacy. We need to leave our kids with legacy, how to live without us after we part from this world. You may leave them with millions, but if they don't have knowledge of how to spend that million, they will blow it and end up saying, Mama, whereas you left them with $1 million. So investment is not only about money. Let us invest the power of knowledge to our families, to everyone around us, so that they should not battle when they need something that needs to boost their journey of life. Thank you so much. Load shedding again, Northwest Province.
So we are converting today. Also, guys. I mean, I'm converting. Yes.
Amongst the greats.
No, true that. Thank you so much for that. Today's topic is, hey sis, money looks good on you. And by the way, we are saying this for some of us, it's in faith. We just like, yes, if we were to have the bag, what would it look like? But the question that I want to portray to you ladies is that, what does the statement mean to you? And I know that fashion trends, looking beautiful, taking care of yourself is things that we actually need to do. But how do we do that without breaking the bank? Because ngapha there's investment, ngapha there's non-profit organizations that we're running, ngapha there's friends and family. Strategy, so we have all these responsibilities, but we also want to show up confidently, we want to show up beautifully. How do we do that without breaking the bank? Maybe just a few tips here and there, ladies. This is what I do for me to look good and still feel good, but without actually going out and taking money that was budgeted for something else and use it to accessorize your looks. Kotato, would you like to go first?
You know what? I think actually that for me, knowing my identity, know your identity, know who you are, you will not suffer from a lot of things. So like you're saying, money looks good on me, but the bank does not, my bank account does not have money. But because I know I know who I am. I know I will not suffer from pressure that no in chambers, senior councils have packed your Bentiegas and no. I will not listen. I will walk and greet senior council in my Kia Picanto while he's in his Bentieg. But I don't even know how to emphasize this. That knowing your identity, know who you are, you will look like what they call rich aunt. You know, you will just look the part because you won't be sloppy when you see people there and you just look, oh my gosh, why can't I do that? Oh my gosh, I can't, oh my gosh. No, I'm invited to this networking session. But there are people, the ladies that attend there, they come in their Hermes, handbags. What? No, go with your handbag from Truworths, from Edgar's. I don't know how to emphasize it. You need to know your identity. Know your identity in who you serve. Whether you're a Christian or what, now I'm a Christian, I know my identity is in Christ. And confidently so I will walk in, and yeah, man, I cannot emphasize it enough. That is how money will look good on you, even when there is no money.
So it starts with you.
It will look good on you, irrespective of whether you shy away from attending networking events or attending events because you don't have, when you are always in the same blazer. No, it's fine. As long as your confidence level is on that level, you will get to change your blazer one day.
Amen. Amen. This
That-
kind of identity keeps coming back.
It's coming back for all the conversations we've had. It's always come down.
So identity, once again, is coming out as a key thing, because honestly, the bank account is saying negative when you need to keep positive, Ngala, and really carry yourself with that confidence. I love that. It has really so little to do with the actual bank account. Because imagine if you were to walk around with that vibe.
And it goes to that actually money doesn't give you your worth. You give the money the worth,
Lovely.
I wanted to add that even, sometimes you get to these events where people need to tell you what the worth of the entire outfit, but it doesn't talk. Mara, now your cheap outfit, it talks so much, right? Where really we find ourselves in events where when this is a business event or we are here to talk legal issues. Now Jiggy Mutu is telling us about her expensive handbag, expensive yes, because why? Everybody is complimenting you with your Truworths outfit, Foschini outfit, but that one, 250,000 is not getting a compliment. Why? Because you made money, that little money of yours, you made it look very good on you. Without, if the two of you said, you won't say Omongwe is wearing 500,000 and when you are just wearing 500 rand. Because of your inner self.
Amen. Power to that. I think I love that. Since you make the money look good on you. It actually depends on you. Mata, would you like to add something on that?
Yes, no, I think she has touched on a lot of things, especially also on the way that sometimes like people are being judged on how they dressed, but also the pressure that we put ourselves in. But I think in all, you just need to be content. Just be content with yourself. I think that's why you're saying, like, you keep coming back to say, be yourself. Compete like with yourself. There is no competition than yourself. So I think for me, that has been something that really helped me to also like stay in my lane, to say, whatever that is happening, I will clap for you. That's what you wanted, and that's for you. And then I will do me, you know, because yeah, I said to this one lady, you cannot fund equally with a borrowed money. You go and borrow a loan so that like you can feed just to buy a dress, to attend an event. You know, you have to learn to say no to some things, you know, especially now, you know, maybe we have like families, we've got kids, and lifestyle lethu or izinto that we are responsible for, they are no longer the same. When we were in university, maybe like we aligned because we all knew that we took fine our first salaries, we just go like at month end and, you know, and see what usenzani ngawo. But now we've got like families, we've got like how much school fees that we have to think about. So there will be that different to on prioritization, to say this is my priority, and at this moment I just, it's okay. You know, maybe you are invited to a birthday party, you really cannot afford it, but you can afford a gift. So I can buy the gift. Then like for me to buy a gift, buy a new dress, pour like the petrol into my car and go there. So those prioritization, to say what is the priority like at this moment. And when you are okay, then like you'll be able to even like attend and showing up like for yourself, and you are being authentic like as yourself. There is no like you need to validate yourself to say. I think I've received also like a lot of that to say I don't have a lot of designer clothes. Most of my clothes are just basic clothes. And but because we make them to look good or on us, then you'll find those compliments and you'll be thinking, oh, okay. You know, and sometimes like you even think, really now like these people, they will think, oh, I know unama million savings, but it's because you know. And the other thing that I want to emphasize is also making sure that you meet your obligation. That is very important. And this thing you start teaching yourself when usasemncane. When you borrow, like repay, and make sure every time, because that's what like mess up like a lot of people. You find which your credit score is a mess. You can't afford anything because you mess up like on that thing. And it started when you are starting like to work and you fail to meet the obligation. Be transparent, be authentic every time, whether like there's someone that is looking or there is not. Make sure that you pay like the debt. So that is very important, and you will go really far like in life, because you also need to build the relationship. You still need the, like your bank, maybe like to buy like asset. So you have to have like that relationship. At this moment, I have the relationship that when I call my bank, because they trust me, you know, they are quick to respond. Not that I've like got lots of money, but because
you've
they
got lots
trust
of
me.
money, sis. It's okay, thanks. Money looks damn good on you, sis. Hlala nje lapho namamillion akho, we see you. Thank you so much for that, Matabiso. So much to grab from that. Yeah.
I think, you know, while we are still on money looking good on you, please complete this sentence, Nati. One thing. Yes.
Again,
One thing I know about money is, you can complete the sentence.
one thing I know about money is that it can build you or it can break you. It's your
All right.
choice.
All right.
Amen. Thank you for that. And we acknowledge Theo. Welcome, Theo. We're almost at the end of the show, but thank you so much for joining us.
Anyone would like to Kotatso? One thing I know about money. One thing I know about money is, you please complete the
It
sentence.
finishes.
It's
It finishes.
Yaphela.
yaphela.
Imali
Yaphela.
iyaphela. So then the importance of us finding ways to replenish it
Yes.
then comes in, because as phela sisale sesiba no negative
Eish,
thinking.
mfethu, eish.
And we don't want to find ourselves there.
Matabiso.
I think like for me, money is power, and you give it like the power. Money is power.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you very much on that.
No, we love that. We're almost at the end of the show, but before we end it, I would like to ask this question. Also, Nati spoke a lot about financial literacy, ne? And we all understand that the economy is tough. Matthias mentioned we are house owners, and we are indebted to the bank to pay, and the interest rates keep coming up, and we are just not coping. So in this tough economy, being money savvy is key, or being financially literate is key. What would you say is an easy to start tip that you can give to our listeners to say, you know what, where you are with your 5,000 rands, even with your zero, or your negative, we are not going to put aside those with negatives. This is an easy way for you to start making money for yourself. Just a simple tip, maybe something that you've learned, something that you've seen being done, something that you aspire to do, but a way that you feel that in this current economy, this is a way that a person can start making money. One way is that I've recently come to acknowledge, I know it's been around for a long time, but being the girl that I am, this needs to take time. Social media and the internet, being a way that one can make income. People are so gifted in so many different ways, like we've mentioned, and people are being seen and, being paid for their gifts and talents through social media. So that's one way that I would say is something that people can actually start. But obviously, of course, I'm not the expert here. So I'd like to hear answers coming from you guys to say, what do you think is an easy way to start? And I know maybe money is not one of those things where it's easy to start, but just a tip for our listeners.
I think if I can come through, for me, you also touched on it to say like financial education or literacy. It's very important because you can have money, but if you fail to handle it, then you will lose it and it will be finished. So the financial education is very important. I always say that we actually find ourselves working for big companies where we speak strategy, your strategic objective, we do budgeting, and we fail to apply those things in our lives, in our families. And I think, and that's why you'll find that the white people, they're striving on this and they are better in handling money because they do these things. They took them from the boardroom and then they apply them in their families. So when we start like to say, I am swamped in debt, and that is being transparent to say, I need assistance. And when you acknowledge that, then you also start like to teach to say, how do I come out of this? That's why I've been kind of like emphasizing to say, let us build this within even like our family structures to say we become transparent. Imali, it mustn't be something, an off topic that's only use law like Nikuluma Nodwa in the bedroom, like without involving the kids. They must hear you like when you talk about it, because we want to build this to be a natural thing. And they must know that like as a family, this is our goal that we want to achieve in terms of investment, in terms of our 5-year, like what we do like in our workplace, 5-year strategy annually. This is what we want to achieve. How do we assist you? Because then after that, we have got like our individual goals. I still have like the car, I love BMs that I want to buy. So how do I get there? are we affording that? Because you find sometimes like, I can afford that, but my family, it doesn't afford that. And I cannot be selfish as much as I want to compensate myself. And that is the self-care, maybe like for me, but like I need to also like be responsible. And being responsible is that I'm responsible, but also responsible to the people that are within like my family and that are supporting me. So that is very important, financial literacy. And then you teach yourself and choose your cycle. I know that like we've got like friends, but you know, like the friends that will make you go like on partying, even then they'll just that energy. It get to you. And even if you said like no, but once like you gone, you will find yourself like spending like 10,000. I know myself, I have a weakness with this camp. When I go to this camp, I can go to buy like a 50 rand thing, I'll leave 1,000 rand. So I try to avoid. I think like it's every woman. That's our weakness. I want to blame you. That is our weakness. No, I try.
Rehab.
So those are the mitigation because you identify the risk. These are my risks, these are my weaknesses. So how do I avoid those things? So that's for me like it's very important. It's very important.
No, we all have weaknesses. Now mine is buying lots of snacks, guys, for the kids. So when they didn't even ask.
Snacks, guys. The grocery. Okay, we're running out of time. So let's take the last two responses to that question and then take it to the last one, guys. You want to go, Unati?
Oh no, I think they honestly touched on everything that is very vital and important. You was asking where do one start to make money? You know, today is difficult, and we don't want to find women or anyone in particular finding themselves into those quick cash because of stress. Well, I can just say that before you want to make money, do you know what you are doing with what you get, what you have? Because it's not going to help that you can't manage what you have, but you want more. Even if when you start planning to say, let me start a tuck shop, you won't even invest in the tuck shop because you can't even take care of whatever that you're getting in a moment. So I go together with what Matabiso was saying, that it starts with me organizing my finances, learning more about money, learning more about what money can do. Like I said with that quick answer saying, it can build you or it can break you. There's people who are earning 20,000, but it still is not enough. When you give them another 10,000, still is not enough. When you add more, it won't be enough because the knowledge about money, it is not there. So it's worthless to say to somebody, get more money, whereas they don't know what to do with what they have. So if we manage what we have, we are able to earn more and be able to structure well. I'm also a victim of this scam. I went today to get just simple vitamins. You must see, when I got there, I had knee problem, I had headache, I had so many things. So I ended up full with the plastic, and my husband was saying, who's gonna pay for those things? I said, the household finance is gonna pay for this. So we are all victims of going extra mile, but we need to be disciplined. Discipline come in every way of our lives. If we are disciplined, everything will just come naturally, and then we'll have more money because we will say, I'm enough with 20,000, but I will appreciate more because it will do some other things better, but not go into deeper depths because we are getting more. But yeah, overall, it was a wonderful knowledge is power. You know, I've learned so much from everyone, and definitely we will install the knowledge that we received today to others as well who were not able to attend the session.
You know what I love about this camp? You even buy things for like in case somebody gets flu, like you're planning ahead in case. When I take off this hair, I'm going to need this, you know.
True that.
It's a trap. Would you like to wrap that one up for us, please?
Oh, good.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything that's been said. I just to add that we should just equip ourselves with personal and financial goals that are aligned. Because if you want to now have a side hustle that's not aligned to your passion, you are going to lose money. You're going to lose money if you're going to now start a spaza shop because you see that your colleague started a spaza shop and it's working for her. But when it's not in you, or in retail, it's going to fail. You see, get what is aligned to you personally. Align yourself with your financial goals. If you need, because I think the question is more onto what advice do we have for a side hustle, if I understood it correctly. If I can't say start this or start that or do this, when I know yourself and know what is it that will drive you, that will make you happy. For example, now my side hustle is to make hats because I like being creative, right? I'm a creative, and that's where I relax. After a long day, I sit in front of the machine. That's where my mind relaxes and calms down, right? The next person likes something different. One likes writing, right? Write your poems, and see how they will work for you. You see, we cannot, this thing, I'm going to sell Herbalife because my friend sells it and it will work. It is doing well for it will. It won't work. You see, align your finances to your passion.
The alignment becomes critical. Ladies, it's been such a beautiful night. I just want to let out this last question. It's very related to what we spoke about now, but it's an in term, generational wealth, generational wealth, generational wealth. And I just want, in not so many words, what you guys understand it to be, and as the generation that sits here, maybe who were exposed to some kind of wealth or some kind of poverty, how do we step forward? Now we've learned about financial literacy, we understand our purposes and we are aligning. Now, speaking of generational wealth, where do you think that we can step our foot into for us to be able to count ourselves as those who are generating generational wealth?
Okay.
Say val, man. Say val.
We did say the show is less deep, right? Let's dive deeper then.
I think like for me, Slow, I would say, your future, what you do now will define your future. So generational wealth is that wherever you are now, you need to start like within your family, start within your circle, like just empower. And that's why I'm saying let us include our kids because they are the next generation. For me, I think something that really empowered me, it was when I saw a will that was written by Ubaba Tamkhulu wami, the dad to my grandfather. And to think like that was a great grandfather, like to me, I was like, this man was wise and I cannot drop the ball, what can I do better? So that's why I always out there to empower myself, to educate myself. And you need to position yourself to such opportunities, like for you, but also for the next generation. Start small and it's possible. That's why I'm saying like within like the network, we have said we will start with only 500 Rand, but that we are planning to one day, whoever that will be watching us will be watching cows that will live for our children to also be part of, and that like go to the next generation, to the next. I think that's what people like do, because for us, this thing, you find that like dies because we didn't impact them to our children. There was no passion like in them because there was no knowledge that was impacted in them. So we need to start doing that. Like speak to your children, like speak to our children about money. Let us be part, like it must not be something it's flesh and eye pale, but it must be like our daily a language and a topic within our families.
I love that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it's not something that's far-fetched, it's something that we can start as we speak, you know, family budgeting, you know, the will being a hot topic in this household as well, life insurance, this isn't those names. Thank you for that, Mata. Osunati, would you like to add? I think I'm
No.
excited.
After everything that was said, for the first time in my life, let me say this. Mathabiso, ke a Meleo.
Wow,
I'm not the person who does that, but you know, after all the info we shared, let me just stick to what Mathabiso have said. You know, you said a mouthful, my queen, and I really appreciate this because some of us, we forget that we need to sit down with those kids, you know, so that they understand where we're standing. If they are used to getting everything every day, they must know rainy, and they must understand, communicate with them, make them understand how does everything go. They think everything is just come and we receive and it's nice time. So thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciate.
Amen. Khotazo, do you feel the same way as Unati? Or do you have a few words to say just to close it up?
No, I do. I concur. Also just I completely agree that children should be raised to understand that you work to achieve. You do not just ask and achieve. You work to achieve what you want. If you're not gonna work, if you're not gonna work for what you're asking for, you can't get it. You see, also as a parent, for example, having, and most of us here are in NGO spaces, you take them with you. Early in the morning, you have to go and do whatever. Early in the morning, you have to go save a woman from being abused. We wake up, we go, Baba, come see what happens. You know, come, we write a statement that we're going to endorse for this lady. You saw what she went through. They have an understanding. Oh my goodness, my mom works. Right, ma. When he comes and he wants whatever, a toy or whatever, they need to understand that you work, you have to work. You know, if I'm not growing up, I was told, wake up, even if you have nothing to do in them, read newspapers just to get to see what people are doing out there, you know, and learn that achievement. You don't just say, I saw this thing here, can I please have it? You saw, okay, let us see. We're going to work together in the morning. How to see if mommy has to work on a Saturday morning, we wake up, we go see what mommy does for mommy to be able to get us the things that we're constantly asking for. So for me, that's a form of growing the generational wealth. I haven't because we sit with situations now in most of the cases that we are doing. People just ran things down the ground, the inheritances are ran down the ground because they do not appreciate the hard work that built them. You see, they just got them in jail from inheritance, and they failed to manage them. Now their children have nothing to point or nothing to do. Yes, because they don't have, like, they were just spoiled bread saying, Papa ka utlo, Mama ka utlo, you know. Now they're not here anymore. They failed to maintain what their parents did. And it broke the family, the generational wealth chain. It's broken now because, you know. So involving, I completely agree. Involving the children, involve them. They must know what it takes.
Kotaso, you are saying something that is so true. That when you hear other people, the only thing that's left is the name, but the work that was put in to build that name, you know, they have wasted it. And I think as maybe to say the generational wealth, first thing is knowledge. Let them know how it, you know.
For us first,
For
then
us
for them,
first,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we also need to gain that information.
Yeah, we need to take stock also of what we have learned along the way. Ladies, I have enjoyed your company. I've enjoyed chatting with you and all the wisdom that you've brought to this topic. I appreciate your time, and we trust that as Deep grows, you will grow with us. You will give us feedback. We will appreciate your feedback. It's been a wonderful evening. Mata, it's been a hell of a week. When it's all over, please put up your legs and rest. I know all of us. I must apologize for keeping on standing and going, guys. I'm also on standby. I can be called anytime. So thank you very much for the time we've had.
We're trying to juggle all the balls.
Thank you so much.
Siyabonga, Nkosazana. This means so much to us. More than anything, we've also learned. We're hoping that those who are going to watch this video will take a thing or two and be able to apply it, because it's one thing to listen, but it's another thing to apply. But I think this topic in particular speaks a lot to our family as well. So thank you so much for opening your hearts and opening your wisdom, and hopefully your pockets also to us. Matango, and then ladies,
No, thank you so much.
No, definitely.
awuphele umkhuba scam ne-food lovers siyayivala leyo. We focus on self.
I'll be running a rehab test.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Definitely. No,
No,
thank you so
so
much. Thank you so much
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
us.
And have
for
a
meeting
blessed
us
night.
today.
Thank
Thank
you. All the best for tomorrow, Mata.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you, Kotatso. Thank you, Mata. Thank you, Tuba.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nati.